You go.
Yes, and now our guest today is Mr. Gary Lewis of Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Hey, Gary, how you doing?
I am doing great. How you?
You know, I hope the listeners will just bear me out just for a couple of minutes because I don't normally say, you know, that this is pre-taped. And I'm telling the listeners for one good reason, and that is because July 4th, 1975, I did my first interview with, quote, a celebrity, and it was Gary Lewis. And it was at Six Flags over Mid-America in St. Louis, Missouri.
I remember the gig.
You were there along with
Davy Jones.
with Dolenz Jones, Boyce and Hart.
Right.
Actually, you played Friday night. You came back to the park Saturday just to hang out. And we did the interview in the dressing room there at Six Flags over in Mid-America. And it was when I first started writing in St. Louis. Also, it was the first time I ever did an interview for Goldmine magazine, which was kind of new at the time. And you were the first that I ever did. So this is nice.
I can't believe that. That's so funny because I was going through my older stuff, you know, in a box the other day, and I came across those magazines.
The gold mines, yeah. Well, you were the first one I ever did, and it was the first interview. And oddly enough, this is about 27 years ago.
Yeah.
But wow, and one of the things that people always ask, because I've interviewed so many people, and I swear to you, Gary, this is not some of the stuff I normally say, and that is, they always ask you, hey, who's the nice guys? Who's the pain in the butts? Your name always comes up first as being one of the nicest guys I've ever interviewed, polite, there for you, anything you needed, and you were great. And I just want to tell you, you were one of the nice guys.
Jesus, it's like I got my head bowed down.
No, it's
Thank
true.
you so much. That's an awful nice compliment.
It's true, and one of the first interviews, you know, it means a lot to someone just starting out. And you were great to me. I was a teenager, a young, old teenager, I guess.
Oh, cool.
And you were nice as can be. We had a good time, and you even had your guitar there. I believe it was called Angel.
Right.
Didn't you have a guitar you named Angel?
Yeah, it was a Gibson Les Paul.
Right. And
Yes, I did.
you even played a couple of tunes while we did the interview. You were just terrific, Gary, and I thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much.
And the energy you have on stage. Now, I did see you in concert a couple of years ago at the Riviera Hotel in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, right.
And the
right.
energy that you have on stage is incredible.
Well, I love what I do. I thoroughly and totally love what I do, and I'm so grateful for what I have that, nobody plans that kind of stuff. If it comes off looking like I'm energetic and thrilled and happy, well, then I am.
Well, fans are going to be able to see you, and that's coming Saturday, August 3rd over at Raleigh Field, and it's the Sensational 60s show, and along with Gary.
Great show. The other guys on the show too. I've played with all these guys in the 60s, 70s.
Right.
And they're great. They're just great.
Well, along with you got Tommy James, you got the Turtles, Mitch Ryder, Mark Lindsay, Marvelettes.
Absolutely. Are you kidding? This history there.
Well, what a show. It's incredible. Now, for ticket information, just call 916-371-4487, and we'll repeat that again later. And that's coming up August 3rd, and what a great show that's going to be.
Oh, it really is. Plus, getting back to California, because I grew up in California, I'll be able to see a few of my brothers.
That's right. That's right.
I've got 5 brothers, and 2 of them are going to come to the gig with their families. So, it's like an extra bonus.
And you got a great backup band, the Playboys.
Yes, I do.
They are good. Can you name everybody there?
Sure. On keyboards is Rich Spina, S-P-I-N-A. I don't know if anybody's writing it down. And on lead guitar, Billy Sullivan. On drums is Mike Hudak. And bass is Darren Freight.
And how long has that group been with you?
About 14 years.
Wow. But they're good.
So it's so cool to be able to go out on stage, out on the road, and know exactly what you're going to sound like. You know, because the guys have been with me so long, I mean, we have our sound. It's just there.
Right.
It's just absolutely there. We never rehearse or anything.
Right.
And then go on stage and we are tight, I'm telling you.
And you never know what's going to happen on stage, because when I saw the show, and I imagine you probably do this a few times here and there, but Mitch Ryder came on stage with you and did Barefoot, help you do Barefoot.
Yeah, right. Every now and then, you know, I don't know, sometimes I just want to change things up, you know.
Right.
So I say, Mitch, you know, I'm going to call you out for Barefoot. Let's just do that together. Why not? Alternate verses, that's all.
But that's great.
Oh, sure. I think that people like that. Plus, the fact of me and Mitch Ryder on stage together, it's kind of a funny thing when you think about it. Gary Lewis and Mitch Ryder.
Right.
You know, that's great, though. You know?
Well, we had Gary, we had Mitch on a couple of weeks ago. And what a sense of humor this guy has. I mean, he told some pretty funny jokes, and it was really kind of putting us on.
He is so funny, you won't believe it. You know, but plus he's such a nice guy, too. He's really a wonderful, sensitive guy. And when you think of the screaming Mitch Ryder in the 60s, you know, you don't figure that.
Right. You know, it's been out, and I mentioned that our first meeting in '75, and
where was that again?
At Six Flags over in Mid-America in St. Louis.
That's right, St. Louis. Yeah.
And during our conversation, you and I both talked about people that we admired, like the Beatles. You're a big Beatles fan. You're a big Elvis fan, and it's odd that since that time that you and I talked to have that conversation, we lost Elvis the next year. In 76, 77, we lost Elvis. And then since then, two Beatles now are gone. And man, what an odd, I mean, it's hard to believe. Because I know you were a big Beatle fan.
Oh, God, I'm the biggest Beatle fan on earth, even to this day. And, you know, we're hearing about all these great people dying and stuff, and it really bothers me, but...
It's just hard to imagine. It's unbelievable.
It really does bother me. I mean, because the Beatles, they were the original influence in getting me into rock and roll. Period.
Right.
You know, they were the ones that made up my mind for me what I really wanted to do with my entire life. And then two of them are gone, and it's just sometimes I wonder actually how I outlived them.
It's just so strange to think about it. It seems like, I don't know, because they're just such an icon, and to think that this has happened, it's... anyway, I didn't mean to put everybody down that's listening.
No.
But it's such an odd thing.
That's cool, though. We'll bring them right back up. You guys are up, right?
Here's another thing I remember back in '75, something that you used to do, and that was when you went to these motels to stay when you went on tour, didn't you used to bring along balls and bats and get people up to play baseball games?
Sure.
See, I remember these things.
We sure do, you know.
Do you still do that?
That was when we were on the Happy Together tour in 1985 with the Turtles.
Right.
And the Grassroots and the Buckingham.
Right.
And no matter where we went, we had our bats and balls, gloves. Hopefully there was a field somewhere real close.
Right.
Yeah, we had a ball. I love baseball. And by the way, folks, I love the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I just thought I'd say that.
Well, I'm still an old St. Louis Cardinals fan.
Oh, well, that's okay.
That's okay.
I mean, that's all right.
Now, let's talk about your show. When you have so many hits that you've had, how do you go about choosing what to do and what not to do in your show?
Well, it all has to do with how much time I have. If I have a lot of time, I'll do all of them. If I've only got like 20, 30 minutes, I'll do the first 7, which were all top 10.
Right.
I'll do the biggest ones.
Mm-hmm.
it just it matters about time. That's all. But the thing is too, sometimes when we have a lot of time, we'll do album tunes.
Right.
Things that myself and Leon Russell and Snuffy Garrett wrote together.
Right.
I'll just throw in things like Little Miss Go-Go or Without a Word of Warning.
Well, my favorite song, Gary, and once again, I'm sorry to keep bringing this up, but back in 1975, I told you then, it's still true today, my favorite song of yours, and I don't think you've ever done this in your show, is Jill.
You're kidding me.
I just love that song. I thought it was a great tune. And I know you don't do that in your show, but it's one of my favorites.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. But I would have to hire an awful lot of guys to do Jill.
But I don't know why. It was just something, the way the tune is and everything. It was always...
that tune, too. Hey, you know that tune? You know the tune Girls in Love off the New Directions album?
Sure.
Well, we do that one now.
Wow.
Because we've got a keyboard player that just knows exactly what to do with his programs.
Right.
And we can do it, even though it was like a 35-piece orchestra doing the tune.
Right. Now, I want to remind everybody once more, August 3rd, over at Raleigh Field, Tommy James, the Turtles, Gary Lewis, Mitch Ryder, Andy Kim, Mark Lindsay, the Marvelettes. It's the Sensational 60s show, and you can call 916-371-4487. I believe the concert starts at 5 p.m. and goes on to whenever. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, it is.
Now, you've been touring with this Sensational 60 show for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, it kind of works out to be like 50%. 50% by ourselves, 50 with the entire tour there.
Right.
That's the way it's been going for the last 4 years.
Now, Gary, in the 60s, how important were the disc jockeys?
Oh my God, disc jockeys, they ruled everything.
See, the disc jockey that I knew in the 60s that loved you in St. Louis was a guy named Johnny Rabbit.
Oh, really?
Of KXOK Radio. I don't know if you remember Johnny Rabbit.
No.
But he was the one that played your tunes, and I guess everybody, has their market and their disc jockey. But I mean, and we're not talking about payola stuff, but how did you have to handle the disc jockeys to promote your record?
What I did is that I didn't wait for anybody to shop my record. I took the acetate, when it's first pressed, it's an acetate. So I took those acetates around to the radio stations that I knew people at.
Right.
And I said, brand new, if it's a hit, you got the exclusive on it. And you know who was the best? Have you ever heard of Dick Biondi?
Oh, well, sure.
Dick Biondi broke so many of my records. He's my favorite human in the world. Really, I think he's in Chicago on WC.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this Diamond Ring, if I recall, and I think you told me this once, was it was Bobby V had turned it down. Is that true?
That's the story I got, and Bobby swears to me that never happened.
Really? Now,
he says to me, "What do you think? I'm an idiot? I passed on that." But Snuffy Garrett, our producer, told me that Bobby passed on it. I said, "Well, I want it."
Was there ever any tunes that you passed on, someone else had a hit on?
No. That never happened. Everything that was submitted to me or to Snuffy Garrett at Liberty Records, if it was a good tune, we did it. We didn't turn down anything. We never turned down a song that came in.
Smart.
I mean, whether or not it was on a B-side or an album,
right,
or stuff like that, it was still all quality.
Right.
Of course, I'm sure that Snuffy kind of, he sifted through that stuff.
Right before you even, stuff that you didn't know about, right?
Right. And that was cool because in the beginning of the whole relationship, he told me, listen, you got to know this right now that I know what I'm doing, and you have to give me complete control. Mm-hmm. I know exactly what I'm doing. Let me do this for you. And I thought about his track record, which is wonderful. Even before me, he just came off of Bobby V with 8 billion hits.
Right.
And so I said, well, sure, go ahead. You just take it and go ahead. And sure enough, I mean, the first 7 records go top 10. I mean, how is that?
Right.
You know, during the entire British invasion, too.
That's right.
You know, so I'm very proud of that.
Now, I know the rumors are that you will have a website soon.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's real close, getting real close, probably, let me see, safely, let me just say September sometime.
Okay.
And it's GaryLewisandPlayboys.com.
You know, I think you're the only one left that doesn't have one, and I think they're great, because the fans, you can reach the fans that way. And Peter Noon once told me that there's so many bogus stuff out there from the CDs and records that fans are buying, and this way that they can buy the original stuff right from the source.
Exactly right. You know, so that's good.
And plus you can keep in touch with your fans. The fans can find out where you're appearing at, what new stuff you have out.
Right. The website's going to have the entire itinerary for the whole year. And
right.
And there's going to be a little click on to go to the family history, early 60s videos, shows like the Ed Sullivan Show and Hullabaloo, stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
Now, is there any new CD coming out soon?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're almost done mixing this new one. Last Christmas, we cut a new CD, a live CD, in Winnipeg, Canada, at this beautiful, huge arena. It was just phenomenal.
Right.
And we just got done mixing it down, and it's going to be a combination of all the hits that the people know, a couple of new tunes, a couple of album tunes. I tried to cover each period of time in my musical life. That's what I tried to do. And then we do a tribute to the Beatles, 6-tune Beatle medley.
Wow.
Wonderful. I mean, I just love that so much.
Wow.
And a tune by Del Shannon called Runaway.
Mm-hmm.
And we do James Brown, I Feel Good. So it's you know, it covers the 60s pretty good.
Well, that sounds great, and people can find that out when your website.
Oh, it'll be out. We're gonna get it on the website when it comes up, and before that, we're gonna be selling them at the gigs.
Great. I want to remind everyone, Saturday, August 3rd, over at Raleigh Field, you got Gary Lewis, you got Tommy James, the Turtles, Mitch Ryder, Mark Lindsay of Paul Revere and the Raiders, the Marvelettes, Andy Kim. It's the Sensational 60 show. You can call 916-371-4487. And I mean, anybody misses that show, they're crazy. That is a great, good show.
It's incredible.
And I want to thank you one more time for being the first interview I ever did, being one hell of a nice guy. And the stories I hear about you, you haven't changed. And I want to thank you for that.
You know, thank you so much. I never expected to hear stuff like that.
Well, it meant a lot to someone who was just starting to have someone, you know, be a good guy, and you were. And unfortunately, I will be out of town on the August 3rd show. Everybody else will go. But, Gary, I'm going to see you New Year's Eve at the Riviera.
All right.
So I will be there, and I'll say hello to you when I'm there.
Yeah, come on up.
And you take care, my friend, and I want to thank you for joining us today. And you have fun, and you take care of yourself, and my best to your wife.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
I'll see you later.
Thank you, Gary.
Bye.